All right, this is problem 20-5A. And so in this one, we're going to, we look at a company that offers three different, looks like sizes of tents. And so it looks like historically what we have is it looks like their medium size is unprofitable. However, the information that they presented to us is the traditional absorption costing income statement. And this problem wants us to look at it from the standpoint of a variable costing income statement to see, hey, is this product really unprofitable? As in, if we get rid of it, is it really, something that we need to get rid of? So by doing the variable costing income statement, we'll separate out the variable cost and fixed cost to say, hey, maybe this product is actually contributing to fixed costs, and if we get rid of it, we'll actually be worse off. Or maybe not. Maybe actually getting rid of it is a good deal and we'll be better off overall. So, all right, so in part number one, well, let's see. Let's go ahead and read through the problem really quick. So we have Valspin Company manufactures three sizes of tents, small, medium, large. The income statement consistently indicates a loss for M. And so what they're looking at is the first proposal is to continue size M, or option 2 is discontinue M and reduce the overall output accordingly, or discontinue size M and launch an advertising campaign to expand the size small, so we utilize the full capacity of the plant. So, all right, so in part number one, it says, wants us to prepare an income statement in the variable costing format to see where we're at. So this is just operate as is, operating all three of them. So, all right, so we have sales for the small is 668. Their variable cost of goods sold is 300. That's going to give us our manufacturing margin at 368. Then our variable operating expenses is 132,480, which gives us a contribution margin of 235,520. Then for size M, 737,300 in sales, 357,120 in variable cost of goods sold, then we have our variable operating expenses at 155,500. Gives us a contribution margin of 224,680. So by just looking at it, size M has a positive contribution margin, so that's a really good thing. So looking at the large, we got 956,160 for sales. Variable cost of goods sold is 437,760. And our variable operating expenses is 195,840. Gives us a contribution margin of 322,560. Now we can go ahead and total these up. So total contribution of 782,760. Now we can put in our fixed cost. And so the total fixed cost, or fixed manufacturing cost, was 385,930. And the fixed operating cost is 311,40. total fixed cost 690 to 6,970, and then we have our income from operations at 85,790. So okay, so that's proposal number one. We just keep operating as is. So then in part number two, so based on the income statement that we just prepared, determine the amount which the total annual income from operations would be reduced if we accept proposal number two. And so proposal number two is discontinue size M and reduce output accordingly. So then here it says proposal two is selected, size M will be discontinued, production curtailed, and the annual fixed production cost and fixed operating expenses will be reduced by 46,080 and 32,240 respectively. So to figure out what kind of change in operations we'll have, so we're going to lose our contribution margin from size M because we're going to discontinue, but we're also going to benefit from a reduction in fixed cost of 46,000 in manufacturing fixed and 32,240 in operating fixed. So we're going to lose 224, we're going to gain 78, which means our actual reduction in overall income is going to be $146,000. So what that would actually put us in negative overall. So based on this, hey, we don't want to just continue M, because even though it looks like it's unprofitable if we look at income, it's actually contributing a lot to cover our fixed cost. In part number three, so using our variable costing format, what happens if we accept proposal number three? All right, so the fixed cost should be deducted from the total contribution margin. In the total column, for this problem, the expenditure of 34,560 for additional rental could be added to fixed operating expenses. Okay. So proposal number three, we're going to discontinue M. Then we're going to launch an advertising campaign to boost the sales of our size small. So proposal, if three is selected, we're going to have additional fixed cost of 34,560 for rental expense. And we're going to have an additional 130% increase in sales in S. And we'll discontinue. Okay. So because nothing has been changed with large, let's just plug in that information here. So nothing is changing with our large, so we can put that in there. But for our size small, we're going to have a 130% increase. So we're going to have so 130% increase plus our original. And that's also going to increase our variable manufacturing. going to give us 690 in variable cost of goods sold. So we're going to have manufacturing margin for small of 846,400, and then our variable operating expenses, because it's variable, it's also going to increase by 130%. Which will give us a contribution margin of 541,696. All right, size M is discontinued. I'm just going to copy our formulas over here. Except the one thing we do have to change is if we do take this scenario, we're going to have an additional 34,560 in fixed costs. We're going to add that here. All right, so that is going to give us income from operations of 132,762. So part 4 just asks us to look at the comparison of that. So in proposal 3, we're going to have 132,000 of income. In proposal 1, we're going to have 85, which is going to give us a benefit of 46,000. So perfect. So we already decided that it's like, hey, it's not a good idea just to discontinue M and not do anything else, because then we're going to lose $146,000 more than we normally would have. But if we discontinue M and then push an advertising campaign to the small size, we actually do benefit by 46,900. So it's like that is the way that we want to go.